Yeah, I'm somewhere out in Yodi land, blowing packs, all kind of stuff, and I'm never going back. Alright people, we're gonna try a different video format this time. Filming live from Saturday night. Alright, blinker number one. Blinker number one? Blinker number one? Ooh, let's take another one. Free up them inhibitions. Wowzer! Alright, sufficiently faded. Let's talk about today's entry into the S.N.A.P archives. What's up, everybody? Joey Planets here, back with another installment into the S.N.A.P archives where we talk about science, nature, anthropology, and politics. Today is entry 3. Going to be doing a little bit of a freestyle, but we are going to be talking about my viewpoints on the afterlife. I guess this is more of a philosophy take, but anthropology is the study of humanity, and at the essence of humanity is a majority philosophy, because at the end of the day, none of us really know what the heck is going on. Some people will say that they know what is going on, i.e. Religious folks, i.e. spiritual tribes, i.e. spiritualists in general who think whatever they think. But from a scientific standpoint, it's very, how did I put this? It's very back and forth. Not many people agree on what's going on. Not many people can properly articulate what they believe happens when you die. So after I take a few more blinker hits, I'm going to attempt to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think happens when you die. So, what happens when you die? This is something I have been thinking about every single day since, I can remember being at least intelligent enough to remember my memories. From the time I was a kid, I was maybe 8 or 9. I was praying to God to let me live forever, because I was terrified of dying when I was 13, 14 years old and starting to push away from religion. I was under the assumption that it wasn't really worth worrying about. I was living really fast, and by the time I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was on my way to the dirt, and I felt like that's where I needed to be. So I've always thought about this, but only recently, having a family, being a little bit older, have I actually tried to sit down and be like, yo, what happens when you reach that final point? And basically, I've come to the conclusion. Oh, God. Damn. And basically, I've come to the conclusion that 14-year-old me was right. Nothing sufficient happens when you die. There really is no afterlife. Everything that you see here is what you get, and there are no other alternate dimensions. There are no other universes. There are no other realms that you'll go to when your consciousness ceases to exist. And let's talk about that. So consciousness is what makes you alive. Consciousness is that basic human instinct of survival, and we gained that billions of years ago when the first single-celled organisms came to be. Now, where does that consciousness come from? A lot of people think that it's a difficult answer, but I don't think that it is. I think that just like with everything in the universe, it's a series of chemical reactions. And what I mean by that is basically our personality, and essentially every fiber of our being it comes from the cells inside of our body. The blood, the bones, your hair, your fingernails, your eyes, your tongue, your organs, your skin, everything inside of you and you are made out of cells. So the basic assumption is that your consciousness and your personality would also be made from these cells. So before we conclude, let's summarize. I've thought about death ever since I was sentient. I have wandered the different paths that humans have created to justify the afterlife, and I have ventured into biology a little bit to kind of come up with my own answer. Now, I read a great book by Philip Detmer. You'll know him as the creator of Kierkegaard in a nutshell. His book, Immune, is phenomenal and a really great dive into exactly the functions that the cell does for us as humans. The reason that I'm getting to all this is because I personally believe that our consciousness and our personality is created by our cells. And it's not only created by our cells, it is driven by our cells' instinct to survive in the most comfortable fashion possible. Now, over the millions of years that we've evolved, our cells have come up with the idea that being inside of a society and creating religions to hope for a better outcome was probably the most justifiable answer. But my saying this is, what happens when you die? Everything inside of your body decays. Your cells start to deteriorate. Your cells start to deteriorate due to lack of nutrients, lack of oxygen. No more blood is being circulated, so those cells are not being recreated. Now the brain starts to die. The cells, the neurons inside of your brain start to decay. What happens to those cells is they lose all of the information inside of them that made your personality, that makes your memory, that makes your laughter, that makes your hobbies, your interests, your tones, your mannerisms. Everything that makes you do the things that you do is inside of your brain. It's inside of the cells, the neurons that power your brain. So when you lose your brain, you lose your consciousness. When you lose your consciousness, you lose your being. Now, I'm not saying that to be a doomer. I'm saying that simply because that's what we see in nature. Everything lives and everything dies, but that does not mean that they go away. The matter, the energy, everything that made up those cells will change into something else. And that is my reason for not believing in the afterlife, because there is no afterlife. There is no after what we currently have. Once your cells die, they change into something else, but they stay here. They're not going anywhere. The matter and the energy is still here, but you are now some different form. It's just not possible or probable that any other manifestation allows itself to cross into a different existence, simply because we don't have any proof of that. And you can claim it and you can hope for it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now, I'm not a biologist, and the information inside of this video may not have been 100% accurate. I'm only human, and I've only been around for less than 30 rotations around the sun. So for me to confidently say what I know is real, no, I can't. But based on the science and based on my experience, that is the conclusion that I've come to. This has been Joey Planets with another installment into the S.N.A.P archives. Please be sure to check out our live streams and comment, like, and subscribe, because I'm growing out here, boys. They say he elevated, but he doesn't even smoke. Make it wanna croak. Every day I'm killing them, I'll be drilling till grilling, end up feeling the bleeding. I'm reeling, I'm dealing, I'm really drinking the leader, fill up the